Welcome once again to the Autosportradio.com 2021 show. We are, strangely enough, still coming to you from the Grand King Race Shops at 8155 Crawfordsville Road in Indianapolis. It's west of the Speedway, about 3 miles or so. But when things open, you want to take a tour, give them a call. Come over, take a tour. You'd love it. It's a working museum. Today's show is presented by Honda and Honda HPD, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the NTT IndyCar Series, the SVRA, McGilvery's Pub and Eatery and Speedway, and VP Insurance. If you're looking for collectibles, or you want to get a present for one of your fans or fanny, to your kid or a friend or something, I highly recommend you go to the500shop.com. If they don't have it, it doesn't exist. The500shop.com. Michael Spangle has everything. So check it out. Look on the website and see what you can find. If somebody's looking for something, he's got it. The Computer Doctor has now an office. It's located at 549 Fleming Street. It's on West Washington Street. It's a place that he's now in the store. You can come there and get your service there. But if you have a problem and can't get there, he can make house calls. Give him a call. Tell him what your problem is, what trouble you're having, and he can try and help you. Or if need be, if you can't bring it in, he can come to you. The number is 317-328-0766. When it's time to get your dental work done or inspected, or you need cleaning, go to the best. The Indy Dental Group, Indy 500 veteran Dr. Jack Miller and his wife, Dr. Liz Lewis, have a spectacular practice. Give them a call, make an appointment. I guarantee you'll be thrilled. They're great people. The number is 317-846-6125. In the book by Paul Page, hello, I'm Paul Page. It's Race Day in Indianapolis is now out. If you're coming to the Speedway, they do have copies most of the time at the museum gift shop. So check it out. See if there's once in a while he'll be there and get him to sign it. Or if you chase him down at the track, have him sign it for you. Be glad to. If you're out of town and not coming, you want to order one, go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble and order a copy. It's a good book by Paul. It's great. And the vice president of PR for the SVRA also has a book, which I just finished. It is phenomenal. It's called The Legend of the First Super Speedway, The Battle for the Soul of American Auto Racing. It's by Mark Dill, and it is really, really good. It takes a bit before they even thought of the Speedway up until it's building and opening. It's a great book. You'll enjoy it. And if you want to find out why these guys and gals like to drive an Indy car and at speeds that it can get up to, excuse me, 240 miles an hour, why don't you take a ride in the Indy Racing Experience two-seater? They don't go that fast, but they go plenty fast for you, I guarantee you. You can go to IndyRacingExperience.com and find a date that'll work for you wherever they're going to have the car at an event, or you can call the office. The number is 317-243-7171. Ask for Shonda. And in the promo box, or when you talk to Shonda, tell DK1 you get a 50% discount. If you have an automobile, you have a house, and it's time to renew your insurance, before you go back to the old guys, do what the Indiana Insurance Commissioner recommends. Get prices, check them out. And I highly recommend Mike Pardee at VP Insurance, located at 5004 West 16th Street in Speedway. He can help you. You'll find you get better coverage for less money. He's done it for all of us. He can do it for you. The number is 317-248-0070. And if you are a vintage car fan or a Trans Am fan, Speed Tour magazine is the one you need to have. Go to svra.com and subscribe to Speed Tour magazine. It's great stories, great pictures. Go to an event, it tells you where you can get a good meal, and you find out some of the drivers you knew as a kid, they're driving again. So check it out, svra.com. And while you're there, hit the schedule tab and find out where they're going to be and when. If you got a vintage car, or would you like one? Well, why not just go and get a hold of Grand King Shop. They can help you. They can help you build it, fabricate, whatever you need to get it back on the road. Or if you're looking for one, they got some. The number is 317-820-3959. Tell them what you're looking for. They will help you. We are here today with somebody that I'm sure the fans are all familiar with. Maybe not him personally, but what he does. He is the president of the Gordon Pipers. And of course, that's the bagpipe band. And I hate to say bagpipe, but it's a drum and pipe band that's been around for a long, long time. And I want to welcome that man. He's a friend of mine, been for a number of years, Mr. Doug Hardwick. Doug, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Don.
What got you started as a young guy? Instead of playing the drums or the tuba or something, how did you get in, and when did you get the interest in playing bagpipes?
Well, I grew up in northern Indianapolis up by the pyramids, and Dr. Wallace Gordon Deal, the founder of the Indianapolis 500 Gordon Pipers, was one of our neighbors. They had ponies, we had ponies, this and that. And I would hear the back in the background as a little kid, and I started really liking the sound of it. And I went over and, ended up being friends with the daughters and the sons. And one year there was this big party at the Deal's house. And I don't know if it was the night before the race or 2 nights before the race, but my gosh, I looked around and there was Lauren Green, and there was, some movie stars. And then there's Jimmy Clark, and there's Jackie Stewart. I recognized drivers before I did the guys off of TV, but I thought I want to get involved with this. So I talked to Doc's son, Scott and Billy, and started taking chanter lessons and ended up joining the band in 1969.
Is the bagpipe hard to play?
Yes, it's not your practice and regiment's something like a swimming team. The breathing and all the work that you do with your arms and this and that, and you memorize all the music. You march to cadence. It's always 90 to 95 degrees on the asphalt. But it's playing the bagpipes for a parade, say for 40 minutes, is the equivalent of running a half of a marathon. So it's difficult, and it takes a long time to get built up to that.
If somebody has a physical problem, or they have a health problem or something, is it easy to find a replacement? Are there bagpipers around the Indianapolis or Indiana area?
No, it's a very unique instrument. It's the only 4 wooden reed instrument in the world. So it's not something somebody just picks up and starts doing. When we lose a piper, it's usually because it just can't function anymore. Because once you start doing this, you get a love for it, and it goes with you throughout your life. Now, we do have people in our band that have physical disabilities. It doesn't mean you can't play the bagpipes or the drums in our band. I can tell you, I'm a 100% disabled veteran from the United States Marine Corps.
Really?
Yes, sir.
You got 20 plus years in?
No, sir. I'm 100%.
I'm sorry?
Marine Corps. So I'm retired from the Marine Corps because I'm disabled.
Oh, well, the Navy threw me out, and they said I was disabled too, but it only took them 4 years to figure that out. It's amazing, because the Gordon Pipers at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway are known by everybody, because you could be in the infield having a Coke and a hot dog, and here you come. On race day, you're out on the track. The band plays all over the place, all over the Speedway grounds. Do you play anywhere else? Are you in a lot of parades during a year, summer primarily?
Most certainly. Obviously, the month of May is one of our biggest months. St. Patrick's Week, as we call it, not just St. Patrick's Day, is a very busy. Of course, we are also the horseshoe pipes and drums for the Indianapolis Colts for their home games. So we play outside for the tailgate parties at every home game. So we do parades, and we do the Peru Circus Parade. We go to Minster, Ohio for the Minster Oktoberfest. This year on July 4th, we're going to Bristol, Rhode Island to play in the United States' oldest 4th of July parade. We do a lot of performances. Before the flu came about, the year before that, I played over 250 times in the year. So that would give you an idea with funerals, weddings, parades, performances at the Speedway, St. Patrick's Day. It was, we stay very.
Yes, you do. And I have to say, I had a birthday with McGilvery's when we did the program for McGilvery's, and some people brought some stuff up, and all of a sudden I hear the bagpiper. Here you come marching into McGilvery's and playing Happy Birthday on the bagpipe. Quite impressive. And I know you've done that for a number of people, maybe not only you, there could be some other people that had friends that do it.
Well, you're the big Don that I've done it for. Okay.
Oh, wow. I'm honored.
Okay.
How, you were telling me a year or so ago, year and a half ago, that you thought that, your time was running to an end because your knees bother you so much. Now, is that from prior or all the marching you've done all these years since 1964? Is that causing you the problem?
Well, I started marching with the band in 69. It was founded in 62. Our first year at the Speedway was 63. No, my injuries are mainly from the United States Marine Corps, from my injuries, serving my country. And when I go out on parade, it's a pretty painful thing, but it's the only thing I can really do. I can't play football, basketball, and golf, and I can't do those things, but I can stumble forward and play bagpipes. So I continue to keep doing that.
Have you noticed that the band doesn't march as fast as they used to? Because some of the guys in your band aren't young kids.
Cattle prods.
I think you said that it was formed in 63 and you came out here in what, 60?
No, it was formed in 1962 by a local veterinarian named Dr. Wallace Gordon Deal.
Yeah.
And they were out playing the vintage car tour that at Raceway Park, and Tony Holman happened to see them playing and how they drew a crowd, and decided that in 1963 the then WFBM Gordon Pipers should come out and entertain in the downtime on the qualifying and race day. And from there on, it's just mushroomed and grown to we're probably, I would say, we're the most photographed bagpipe band in the whole world.
There's no doubt. And it's kind of interesting to watch. You come from Gasoline Alley heading north towards the pagoda and so forth. The crowds just part, and as you come by, they applaud. That's
it's amazing. This we go all over the place, but right now we can't go to the infield of the Speedway, which is normally where we do all our playing. Right. Either that or in the suites or up in turn 2 suites or at the golf course. But this year, since we are regulated to the outside of the track, which means outside the grandstands, we actually went up and climbed up the stairs and went up to the paddock penthouse and to Standee, and we went up there and gave concerts on Saturday and Sunday, and lit our Facebook page up. The text that I've got that we've seen you guys on the big screen, we can hear you and see you in Gasoline Alley. But my gosh, to see you guys live was one of the most impressive things we've seen at the Speedway. And it just, we all do this for free. We don't get paid to do this, and we do it because we love doing it. And we're racing fans, and we get free tickets if we play.
That brings to mind the question. You said that you have the group that plays for the Colts out parking lot for tailgating. Do you get tickets to the game for that as well?
Yes, sir, we do.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Irsay is very nice to us, as well as Mr. Penske is very nice to us, and the Holmans are very nice to us.
Now, you have been on race car crews. You have worked on cars and built cars. There's a story that I heard you started telling, and I had to leave, about an occasion with Mr. Penske came down and had some question for you.
It was at the 1985 Michigan 500. I had been team manager for Don Mergard out of Cincinnati for Tom Bigelow's car at the Speedway, and we missed the show. And I went to work for Pace Electronics. Dennis Firestone was the driver. Dave Thomas was the crew chief. And we were at Michigan, and Mr. Penske come up and asked me where the 42 car was that we ran at the Speedway. And I told him it was on a trailer at my house. And he asked me if I could get it to bring it up to enter it. And I said, well, I'd have to get a hold of Mr. Mergard. So he told me what the deal would be. And I called Don Mergard, and we dropped everything I was doing at the time on the team, drove down to Indianapolis, got the trailer and truck all hooked up. And I realized I didn't have a crew. So I started calling bagpipers at midnight and drummers, and we took up quite a few. I think it was 4 or 5 500 board pipers served on that crew that day that we ran Phil Kruger up at Michigan. But we, and we did the same thing for hit the wall at Michigan in 85 during the race, and they were short of cars. I believe again for the race in Pocono, it was the same situation that he struck with Mr. Mergard. And I couldn't find all the parts. I needed to fix the car because it was a year old. So I was sitting out at the Hurry Sundown Saloon on Rockville Road, and by God, I look up and there's an 80 pod sitting on the wall. It said California Cooler on it. And I said, "Is the owner here?" And it happened to be a guy named Dan. He came out, and we knew each other from football days. I said, "I need that side pod or I can't finish this car to go to Pocono." "Oh, I Emerson Fittipaldi signed it." I said, "I'll get you another one. I need that side pod." So he gave it to us. And we spray painted her and went to Pocono. I think we finished 12th in the Pocono 500 that year. But later I found out that was this is kind of funny, probably not to the mechanics. Later we found out that the left side of the car was a road course top side pod and the right side was a speedway side pod. So she naturally wanted to turn left going in the corners anyway. So she ran most of the day.
Well, that's good. You know, it's interesting what happens and how some of these events take place and how guys get involved and so forth. It's kind of interesting. But to go from a team manager to a bagpiper, that's kind of a step that I haven't heard of too many people making.
Well, now actually I went from the bagpiper into IndyCar. Opened the doors for me. In 1984, I went out there and I decided I'd really kind of like to get involved with this stuff. And I was walking around and Mark Bridges and Billy Bignotti were unloading a car. And I walked up and I said, "Hey, how's a guy get a job out here?" And they both looked at me funny. And BB looked at me. He goes, "Go down and see Larry Pryor there at the Murgard garage. I think they're hiring somebody." So I went down, knocked on the door, and LP answered the door and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to go IndyCar racing." He goes, "You willing to work your butt off?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He goes, "When you have a job, you're my gopher." I said, "Well, what's that?" Well, I did it so well, I made sure the uniform were there for Mr. Burgard's team. There was hot coffee, Long's Donuts every morning. I did my job.
There you go. That's what I did. I was the kind of the gopher for a race team. And I made sure that when the guys went to lunch, when they came back, all the tools were where they started in the morning so they could find everything. So I've been there, done that. It's been a fun time. Could I say that the Gordon Piper's band was more exciting and more with you than being in the Marines?
Well, no, not at all, Don. The Gordon Pipers opened a lot of doors for me at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the people that I met and how I got into racing. I would have never been able to walk into Gasoline Alley back then if they had known me as a piper and talked to Billy Bignotti. So, you know, being there since 1969, but playing in the Indianapolis 500 Gordon Pipers has afforded me to also meet a lot of people. While I was a Marine, I played my bagpipes a lot.
Really?
Oh, yes. I mean, once they found out that I could do that, then they didn't use me, but I volunteered a lot. And one of the neat things, Camp Pendleton, California, I played my bagpipes for a foursome of, it's Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, who was the vice president that went out in shame with that group there, and one other, Schlesinger.
Spiro Agnew
and Schlesinger.
Well,
that was the foursome I played my bagpipes for out of Camp Pendleton.
wow.
Nixon lived right off the base there in San Clemente. So, but yeah, I've now played for 5 presidents. I've met some really interesting people, race car drivers, you know, actors. It afforded me to be in a couple of Toyota Tough commercials. Afforded me to be in the Baby Blue Marine with Jan Michael Vincent. You know, it's opened up a lot of doors for me.
Well, you have brought a lot of cheer to a lot of fans because not having the Gordon Pipers at an Indianapolis 500 is like missing the race. And a lot of people look forward to it. I hear it a lot. Are the Pipers going to be? Of course, they've been here for almost 60 years. Last year, of course, you weren't allowed in, but this year you'll be on the outside of the grandstands, on the outside of the main straightaway. That should afford you a lot of people.
Well, actually, race morning, we will be marching the Borg Warner Trophy around on the track with the Speedway Marching Band and the Purdue Marching Band, and taking it from Gasoline Alley around to the start finish line where the 105th running champion will pick it up when he pulls in victory lane. So Our morning's going to consist of playing up to where we got to go and then getting on the track. It's kind of like the old days for me, back when we used to have to be out there really early and start the parade in the morning because they started the race earlier, it seemed to me. But that was still doing a lap around the track before the race. I mean, how many people are afforded that? Especially on foot.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you get to walk around too. It's a
Yes,
long,
sir.
it's a long 2.5 miles when you're walking.
Well, if you stay in the low groove, it's 56 minutes. If you go the high groove, it's 58 minutes for us.
Well, I tell you what you have brought, and the band, not just you personally, but the Gordon Pipers have brought to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Indy 500 can't be matched. I don't think there's any venue in the country that I can think of where they have something like you at an event that people go, wow. I don't know of one, and I haven't heard of one.
Well, Don, we also we have a tradition, which, again, we didn't get to do last year, but we have the tradition of having 4 bagpipers in Victory that welcomes the car back safely on 4 wheels. And that was something that Tony Holman and Dr. Deal put together. We've been doing that since 1967. Of course, we didn't get to do it last year because we couldn't get in the place. So hopefully that'll return this year. We're just thrilled to be out entertaining the race fans from the NTT IndyCar Series, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the sprint and midget guys around Indiana. I mean, it's just, I'm going to tell you, I've had more fun at the Speedway in the last week than I probably have in any week of my life. And it was just a matter of being able to see people smile again, taking pictures, watching somebody like, the Top Gun team. That amazed me because, I've been there and I've had to walk away there, and it's not an easy thing to do. And that team, they impressed the heck out of me. That team did. I thought sure that they were on power out, and I think if the kid had enough time, he would have. But, we got 33 drivers starting. I'm thrilled. I'm like a little kid again. We're going to have the Indianapolis 500, and I don't have to watch it from my couch this year. I'm going to be there. I'm going to march around that track prior to, and hopefully at the end, there'll be 4 of us there to welcome home the victor in victory lane with our bagpipes as we normally do,
Well, I consider a privilege that I get to know you. I can talk to you. I can actually call you up and you'll answer the phone. A lot of people say, oh, it's him. Don't answer. When you answer the phone, I appreciate you taking the time and explaining to the fans that are watching what the Gordon Pipers are, where they started, what you do. And I'm sure a lot of people, I'm going to get emails. They perform how many times a year, did he say? It's amazing and it's phenomenal. And I appreciate your time and I appreciate what you do. I look forward to seeing you marching around. It's good.
Don, I appreciate that. Everybody in our organization, are professionals from different types of businesses and donate their time for this great band that we have. And, as I said, we do stay busy. Race day's a great day for us, but the next day we're in Anderson honoring the veterans at the cemetery, and then we're off to Bristol, Rhode Island for the 4th of July. And the summer just won't end until, the last Colts game, I believe, at home this year is January 2nd. It's going to delay me from getting down to Florida a lot. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, gee whiz. Well, Doug, I'm thrilled that you took the time to talk to me, and we look forward to seeing you out the Speedway. And if you're out in the East Coast and you hear this world famous 4th of July, the Gordon Pipers will be there. Go see them. Check them out. Have you got a website or somewhere where people can look and see your schedule?
You can go to our Facebook page.
Okay.
Our website's a little out of date. We're getting ready to update it after the race. So Facebook, Indy 500 Gordon Pipers. My Facebook page, Doug Hardwick. You can get the schedules on there. The next few days, day isn't what it used to be, but we're going to be downtown. You'll like this real quick, Don. Downtown Speedway, Card Day. They've got the whole street blocked off. They've got 3 different stages. They're having all kinds of band in there. The Rock Garage is performing, and they put bands together. We're going to play AC/DC's Long Way to the Top on the bagpipes with a rock and roll band at 8:12 on the main stage in Speedway after Carburation Day. And I'm going to tell you something. It's really cool. So if you can come out and join us in Speedway, you'll really enjoy it. I guarantee you.
All right. I'm glad I asked you about where to find your schedule. And you brought that up. That's interesting. We're having a group of 18 of our gang have been together for more than 25. Some of us have been together for 40 years. And we're having dinner down on Main Street. We'll be out there cheering you on.
Look forward to seeing you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. My guest has been the president of the Gordon Pipers Bagpipe and Drum and Bagpipe Band in Indianapolis. It's a thing. If you come to the race, you got to listen for him. You'll hear him. Trust me. We'll have some more guests upcoming in days to come, but until next time, this is Don Kay saying thanks for watching. Thanks to Doug for being here. Until next time, see you.